Yeah. All right. Now, today we're going to combine our news review and our online review. So, the news review, of course, brought to us by Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough, and Access Bank, more than banking. Online review by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goil Good Energy. Goil Yanara Yedia.
Now, Good Energy brings you Gold Super XP, the ideal choice for most vehicles. It is flowing wow at many gas stations in the country. Just go fuel up your vehicle and enjoy the smooth ride with all the benefits. Gold Super XP is quality and gives you the correct choice when buying regular fuel. Gold Super XP is fortified with a special additive that gives longevity to your engine. Good morning to you, Mama V. Makes your engine perform to the max using minimal fuel and is suitable for most vehicles. As you journey the road, look out for the Gold stations with the Gold Super XP sign and go fuel up your vehicle. Gold Super XP will fill ya, will be feely. Gold, good energy. Jenna there.
Okay, now a Merry Christmas from everyone at Zenith Bank. They say you should enjoy the festive season with the support of Zenith Bank's bouquet of electronic banking products and services. Remember to use their digital banking channels for quick and easy access to your money. Also, you can dial star 966 hash for easy banking or use the Zenith mobile banking app, Z Mobile, to carry out your banking transactions anytime and anywhere. Now, they wish you a joyous Christmas celebration. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Okay, so first story that's popping up, myjoyonline.com. MPs-elect with quashed results are ineligible for swearing in. And that's according to the current Speaker of Parliament, Bagbin. Let's hear what he actually said.
To become a member of Parliament, you have to be elected by the voter. And you have to be declared by the Electoral Commission. But you have to be sworn in by the Speaker. Until you are sworn in by the Speaker, you remain MP-elect. So I was very clear in my mind that some of those re-collations and re-declarations were completely now and going up in issue. They were unknown to the law. And so they were not properly so-called MPs-elect and not qualified to be sworn in by me.
Not qualified to be sworn in by him, but will it be him?
That's an interesting point. I think this is perhaps the biggest speech Speaker is making for the position again, because in reality, this comment is I mean, it's almost like Speaker is expressing an opinion on something that's more likely not going to be his business. Or we may call upon him as former Speaker, because he will be the outgoing Speaker at the time.
In what order does it happen?
Yeah.
Is it the outgoing Speaker who swears in the new MPs and then the MPs choose their new Speaker?
Yes.
Okay.
No, hold on. I mean, the ninth, right? Mm-hmm. No, the MPs would have elected a Speaker.
Oh, they will elect a Speaker first?
Yes.
Even before they are sworn in?
Yes.
Okay.
But the problem here is Mr. Speaker should understand. And I think everybody understands the undertone that it is, because the group that called on him, the professionals in the NDC, also said they should keep him. So, I mean, it was a pitch, and it's not one of those things that I don't know how else to put it, but it was almost like, you might know if you give me again, I will like, but people have raised concerns about what they call it, the balance. If Speaker is maintained, and they have not only raised the concern about whether or not, of course, we don't even know. What happens is that the party would engage. Sometimes it's not just the MPs that are making the decision. Let's not get it wrong. I've heard Alexander Afenyo-Markin say that, they should keep him as Speaker. Deep within my heart, I think he is a fairly tough one. I'm willing to see with an NDC majority how he operates in Parliament, because mostly speakers who see a very obvious majority should balance the House properly with the powers given them, by also making the minority heard consistently, by also making sure that it's not bulldozing every second. I suspect Speaker Bagbin can do something like that. Now, my difficulty is that because of that, he might not be the best choice for his political party.
Because they might not be interested in that balance.
In that balance is somebody who has a tendency to be fair sometimes. So they'll reach in other points, like for example, ethnic balance. If you are from the 5 regions or the north, somebody else should be somebody, because there's going to be, they'll give you all of the excuses, but deep within the real politics is that they may not want somebody who you cannot, because sometimes Bagbin is unpredictable. Sometimes you are so sure he's going to do something, then he comes up, then everything is, on a different well. You may need somebody like that. I sometimes want to compare his tenure to John Bercow in the UK. Bercow came from his own party, now became basically a representative of the minority side. And it was tough for his own party. So with examples like that, it's difficult for you to, and we don't do that kind of thing. It's just like when Speaker Alajete was the choice of the NDC at the time during the Kufuor second term. When they did that, but they brought the man from the Western region, Ebenezer Sechi. There are dynamics within a party, within a government, that will say, let's get somebody who will help us in our business, not somebody who would put Parliament first, or put even sometimes the nation first. They accept the independence now, even though that might be in the supreme interest of the country. So others are saying that Speaker should be retained, but I doubt very much whether the NDC is considering that as the most important move within Parliament.
For me,
people are proposing the likes of the former Speaker. Doajaho, for example, people are proposing him. Others are also saying no, the person should come from the Greater Accra area. So they are looking at other options on the table. In the sum, they will justify it with other reasons, but at the core, it will be that you need somebody you think is always going to help you push your business, and somebody who might not be too independent for your liking.
Now, this is bringing. I'm so sorry, Josh. Just a quick one. This is bringing back my mind to a comment made by John Mahama after he won the last election, when he said the next parliament will not abuse its supermajority. And when we reviewed that comment here, I was the only one on the team who found a bit of disquiet in hearing the president telling us how Parliament will be. Because the expectation is that Parliament is separate from the executive. It shouldn't be that the executive can tell us how Parliament will turn out. Right? It shouldn't be so. Okay. Even in the face of an obvious majority, and in light of how we do politics in Ghana, where Parliament ends up consistently just being an appendage of the executive. You see, what we want are signals that can change. We want to see signals that can change. So you don't want to hear a president telling you how Parliament will be, even if he's trying to say something positive, even if he's saying that Parliament will not abuse it. He should not know. He should not be able to tell us how Parliament will be if indeed he intends not to control it. You see what I mean?
Okay, I get your point, but the reality is that as John Mahama, if he's president today, he has a lot to do with whether or not this parliament is independent or not. Truthfully. See who he appoints. Already he has to appoint more than half of his ministers from this parliament. Secondly, the person who push business, government business, they call it government business in the house. If he insists that, listen, push this through, that's what they are likely to do, because all of the 180 or so will be interested in becoming, pleasing him. So if that man sends you a signal that this is not what I'm going to do, so I expect that by not doing this, it would influence, or my influence will be removed so that they can do what they are doing. I don't see a problem with that.
So what you're saying is that the president is a massive input into what happens in Parliament. I agree. But we're talking about the output. And you see, by the time the output happens, processes have occurred. parliamentary processes have occurred. So the president can say, yes, I need you to push this. The president can appoint this person. The president can do this and all of that. But the output will be determined by how independent parliament is. What kind of speaker we have in parliament. How that speaker works to balance things like you were suggesting. Right? All of those things will determine the output. So much as the president has a very, very big input, the output should not be something that he can tell us about. If we were doing things correctly. If we were doing things correctly.
My concern is, and Raymond help me, whether it lies within the speaker's right to decide on who has been elected or not. I mean, if there are issues with the law, and that is why we are going to people are going to the High Court to seek clarity on that one. If there's a problem about EC declares winners for elections, if there are problems with that process, whoever has problem goes to the court to challenge that, and the right things are done.
I get your point.
So I don't think that it lies within the speaker's outgoing or incoming to say that I will not swear this person in, I won't swear that person
No,
in.
effectively, it is the people who choose candidates at the elections. When they finish with that, it is the Electoral Commission that actually would give that gazetted list to Parliament. So who is elected to represent the grouping is that of the Electoral Commission. So they will submit it to Parliament. Now, the interesting part is if you have a difficulty with that list, your alternative will be in court. If you have a difficulty with anything that happened,
with the process that led you
to that, your alternative will be challenging that in court. It is something that has been dealt with more recently. It's a conversation that, I mean, I'm not sure why we were going back and forth on it. We've established that for a very long time, and people have used that process. The only difficulty, and I see, and that's why I agree with you, but I see this as a pitch for the job again. But speakers should not be seen as consistently creating the impression that in your quest to maintain your original or previous role, you say certain things that are not like how you think as a proper lawyer. So that is where my difficulty with the things he's been saying is. Again, I think we have had a lot of difficulty with this parliamentary process and irregularity in some of the things that have happened over the period. It's strange, right? Some of them, you expect everybody to know their rights. For example, security at a point pretended as if they didn't know that we were in the same country. Yes, to the point that even where we do collation became a conversation that, I mean, that aside, the EC2 reached the point where they will tell you, oh yes, we were live on TV when declarations were done. Yet those declarations, in fact, some of them, nobody held any gun to. We saw the people brought out their phones, MPP and DC were there, and still they did declarations. And yet subsequently, this thing was being disputed by the same people. I'm not sure what the point is.
Anyway, we have to come back and talk more about this. Right now, though, it's time for the BBC News brought to you by Fidelity.